Here we have a pre-owned 2004 Ford Explorer in the XLS trim level. Comes in Oxford white on gray cloth interior. And our powertrain consists of a 4-liter naturally aspirated V6 engine, made it to a 5-speed automatic transmission, and that gets us 210 horsepower. Coming around in the front end here, halogen headlamps. I like the grille though, it looks kind of like an older Expedition. They really did a good job making it look similar to that. And then down here we have 16s. Those are going to be cast aluminum, I believe. The running boards here. And then we have power windows here. You can do one touch down for the driver's side, and then you can lock your windows there if you want to. Power door lock controls, and then power mirror controls as well. Door handle there. Actually a pretty good sized pocket there, good sized cup holder. Headlamp controls, and then parking brake down there and the release. Pull that back. And here's our front driver's seat. I believe that's going to be a 4-way manual. Hopping in the back here. Have the seat in front of me adjust for someone of my size. And then that's my legroom there, so not terrible. Especially with this be an older vehicle. And then we have our rear AC vents, which is nice to have that there. 12-volt cup holders there. And you can actually, that's interesting, you can either have it coming out of these vents here, or you can decide to have it going at your feet from the back there. So very interesting. Of course it doesn't cut all the way off, but you can feel it. And we do have clothes hangers there, and then the grab bars here. And a huge shout out to John Roberts Nissan for allowing me to review this Explorer today. Weren't a lot of features that came on vehicles back in 2004. This one does have a tow hitch. And tons of storage back here. I like that we have a little pocket on the side here if you want to keep stuff from rolling around behind that. And then you even have a deep pocket down there. It's pretty neat. And the jack and all that's underneath here. And then additional storage there. Now I believe these were optional to have a third row. This one does not have that. But there's your spare right there. There's your exhaust. It even tells you the trailer weight. And there's your fuel filler there. And then, this is broken, but you can fold the seat down. There it is. And that'll fold flat. You'll have all of that additional space. And you can just lock it back into place. So it's really nice to have that in 2004 especially. And then here is your front passenger seat. The glove compartment here. Still have an owner's manual in there. And this one has a roof rack as well. So I'll take a look at that while I'm popping the hood, or after I pop the hood. So there it is. And then you just have to pull this to this side. And there's that 4-liter V6. It's crazy nowadays you can't ever see anything in the engine bay without taking the cover off, but there it is. Let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat next. So this vehicle has right at 156,285 in terms of mileage. So the vinyl wrap steering wheel is starting to just get a little, well, I shouldn't say little, it's quite faded all the way around, especially at the top. We have our shifter here. So for the 5 speeds, you just hit the brake, reverse, neutral, drive, then you had third gear, second, and first. And then over here to the radio, we have AM, FM, CD. I'm wondering if all that still works. Well, it's saying there's no CD in there and it isn't, so that's good. And then we could adjust our bass here, treble here, volume there. And we can set our presets or use a CD, shuffle, whatever. AC vents down here, AC controls here, fan speed, temperature, direction, and then you could actually cut it off. I think that actually did cut it off. I'm impressed. Then the AC toggle here, rear defroster there. Storage here, cup holders here, and then, ooh, 12 volt. It's crazy how there's not a lot of room for stuff in here though. Or there's not a lot of storage, I should say. Pretty good size center console cubby though. Because it's just so, it feels so open in here. The roof is tall. Cruise controls are here. Hazards are right there. Then windshield wipers, control those there. Then you can control the rear wiper here. And then high beams there. Flasher high beams there. Cut it off, it's still going. But anyways. And there's your key fob there. This one still has 2 keys to it. Then of course you can toggle what you want. Setting up here. I'm going to show trip or mileage. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2004 Ford Explorer XLS out on the road for a quick test drive. So I don't know if that's a belt or what, but just getting a little bit of noise as I put my foot down, driving it, and the sound kind of dies down as I let off. And of course, it's not driving straight now. But cruise control works. And that does sound like a squeaky serpentine belt or something like that. I'm not 100%, but I mean, other than it not necessarily driving straight, maybe it needs an alignment, maybe there's suspension work that needs done, but the ride is actually really, really good compared to what I was expecting. It's just kind of floating down the road. And the brake pedal is very, very strong initially. Almost touchy. And all the gauges seem to be working properly. Like I said, that sound, I couldn't tell you what that is, but it did start when I started the vehicle too, and it was just idling. It just wasn't as loud. And speaking of loud, I do have to kind of yell in the cabin, but it's mostly due to that belt. As I'm coasting here, it's really not a big deal. Pretty standard sound acoustics, even compared to what I'm used to in newer vehicles. And I will say it's the tire noise is very unnoticeable. So that's good. And the suspension seems decent. In terms of taking bumps, nothing scary. But especially for a 2004, whoever had this definitely kept it in good shape. It's driving well. But as these vehicles get older, it just, certain things just aren't right, and you really can't get them right. Or if you can, it's not worth the money. But I mean, driving relatively well. Tad bouncy, the ride quality is in general, but not uncomfortable in the least. And what's crazy is the vehicle, other than the sound that it was making, see if I can get to do it again. Yeah, other than that sound under acceleration, really drives like new. Not hearing any other crazy noises. Like I said, drives just really well. Now these were known to be thirsty as well, but in 2004, wasn't really a big deal. But yeah, just a really comfortable ride. Not much to say about this. I mean, it's a 2004 Ford Explorer, so it's nothing out of the ordinary, but this also drives like a 2004 Explorer in a good way. It's still, like I said, it drives like new, but it's not like anything crazy. I feel like I'm just in a normal older vehicle, as opposed to being in a, let's say, a new Camry or something like that. And you're like, oh, this ride feels good, but it's also not fill in the blank. Like this just, it's just driving. But these weren't meant to have the best ride, especially compared to what we have now. Not a lot of crazy safety features or anything like that. And it goes, it's not fast, it's not slow. It's just adequate. But like I said, the biggest thing for me is, with this being an older vehicle, not a lot of stuff is in your way. We're not trying to have slanted roof lines and all that. Just very spacious. And the acceleration is not bad, actually. Now, I will say, coming down the interstate here, with the bigger tires and the smaller wheels, are really just float down the interstate like ride here. Very impressed. Just ever so slightly coasting down here. And then as I pick up speed, it just gets a bit harsher. But for the most part, I mean, I'm doing 75, nothing crazy going on here. It's driving really nicely. Getting picked up by the wind just a little bit. But all in all, not for a 2004, like I said, for a Ford Explorer at that, not crazy wind noise. I've been in new Broncos that have more wind noise than this does. So definitely nothing to be ashamed of. And as you can hear, like I said, the road noise is very, very good. But it might be because everything else is so loud. But for me, it's just a good sound quality for that. And the AC is blowing ice cold. I like that. And it's just really nothing out of the ordinary here, other than that squeaking I'm getting from the front, which is probably an easy fix. Because I mean, vehicles get old, and as they get old, you have to start replacing parts or doing this or doing that. But I mean, for a 2004 Ford Explorer with this kind of mileage, I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to drive this anywhere, really. Of course, I want to have it checked out, but I mean, like I said, brakes seem to be fine. Steering seems like it might need a slight alignment, maybe a ball joint or something, I don't know. But it's just driving normally, no issues. I mean, the air is working, cruise control is working, so it's ready for a road trip. And with all that being said, this is going to bring me to an end of my review of the 2004 Ford Explorer XLS.